In the headlines, President Tinubu meets with UN Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed. Fire guards Kwara Market destroys goods worth millions. CBN launches diaspora investment accounts to attract Nigerians abroad. And on the international news, plane crash in Kenya claims 3 lives. And on sport, Lakers and Clippers games postponed due to California wildfires. Good afternoon and welcome to Liberty News. My name is our nation's Deputy Secretary General UNDSG Amina Mohammed, who is in the country for a 2-day official visit. The president had announced on Tuesday that the UNDSG would discuss critical issues such as regional stability and development with the Nigerian leader. Sore Mekun also said that Mohammed would discuss the leadership of the economic community of West African states with the president and other senior government officials. The Minister of Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduole, said on Friday that the 3.844 billion naira capital allocation to the Dr. Oduole stated that the amount is grossly inadequate to fund its capital projects and programs, while soliciting the support of the lawmakers for additional funding to enable the ministry to align its commendable projects with objectives outlined in the National Development Plan and the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework. Senate Correspondent Hasmo on the report.
The minister, who spoke at the joint budget defense of the Senate Committees on Industry, the Senate Committee on Trade and Investment, and House of Representatives Committees on Commerce, Industry and Small and Medium Enterprises, noted that the spot will enhance the 844 billion naira and a revenue projection of 2.4 trillion naira for the financial year.
The ministry may not be able to achieve all the desired impact. The ministry's 2025 capital proposal stood at 3.8 billion, which is inadequate to meet the scope of work required to deliver this impact to Nigerians across the nation. National Development Plan and the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework, as presented to the National Assembly by Mr. President. In this regard, it is on this regard that on behalf of the Nigerian people,
in view of the cross-border banditry taking place in states sharing borders with Niger and Republic of Chad, the lawmakers lamented that it is better for the borders to be practically opened and not technically closed. They urged the ministry to liaise with the presidency on the way out of the border closure.
And technically closed. When our new government got there was a slight problem in Niger. The borders were closed. 7 states in the northern region were affected. Imagine the trade that would have gone among all of us just because there was a change of government. Today, the security implication now has affected the economic growth. Because again, that normally block these people from Libya and so on. Libya has left the border to us, and we are having the problem in the north. So without this security and others, these of doing business not going to be achieved, and we are still going to have power.
Meanwhile, the committee had ordered the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduole, who came for the budget defense session, to go and correct some errors observed in the documents submitted, particularly 59 billion naira erroneously written as payment for 50 billion naira. Alamin Ibrahim, Liberty News.
The federal government and the US have signed an agreement for the repatriation of not less than $52.88 million forfeited corruption proceeds to Nigeria. The acting spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kimibi Ibinfa, disclosed this in a statement on Saturday in Abuja. Ibinfa stated that the agreement was signed by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi and the US Ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills Jr. The Nigerian Foreign Ministry's spokesperson further stated that signing the agreement marked significant shared investment in of the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC. Professor Mahmood Yakubu has proposed 126 billion naira for the commission's operations, citing the increasing number of by-elections and the capital-intensive nature of elections in Nigeria. Professor Yakubu said this while addressing a joint session of the Senate and House of Representatives Committee on Electoral Matters, highlighted that 40 billion naira of the 80 billion naira proposed in 2024 was approved. Senate correspondent has more on the story.
A total of 40 billion was appropriated for the Commission in 2024. Distinguished senators, honorable members may recall that we complained of the 80 billion.
But we have
of the 80 billion.
But we have a 15-page document that has provided details line by line on how we intend to spend the 126 billion. So I would like the support of members of the National Assembly to ensure that we are adequately funded for the responsibilities we are required to discharge. And most of these responsibilities are constitutional. They are not just in the Electoral Act. They are not just for propriety. They are also constitutional.
The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakub, says his commission needs 126 billion naira to run its.
Was argued that this would not suffice for 2025 and recommended sourcing election funds directly from the Federation account.
Vacancies have now occurred in 21 constituencies. But not only that, we also have 8 governorship elections conducted off-cycle. So the Commission is conducting elections virtually all year round. We have little time to recover our senses and begin to plan for the next election.
Professor Yakubu responded that the executive later allocated 10.5 billion naira to INEC to further fund its operation. While making several recommendations, the INEC chairman further emphasized that the 40 billion naira approved for 2024 will not be sufficient to cater to the Commission's activities in 2025. He maintained that in the last 1 year, the Commission has conducted 21 by-elections across the country, with 11 still pending. In their separate remarks, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Electoral Matters, Senator Sarafaddin Ali, commended the Commission for managing the 2024 elections despite limited funds, but stressed the need for improved funding in 2025.
For instance, the 40 billion has not taken into account activities, particularly elections that we are going to conduct in 2025.
Okay, that are right within local government headquarters, about 59 of them. How many, in this 125 billion, how many have you provided for? Taking into account that we have only this year and part of next year.
We have
key elections scheduled for 2025 include Anambra in March, Ekiti in June, and Osun in July. The meeting ended in a closed-door session to further discuss the 2025 budget framework. Alamin Ibrahim, Liberty News.
The news continues, but after this break, stand. Welcome back from that break. The news continues. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yaqub, has proposed 120.
INEC boss argued that this would not suffice for 2025 and recommended sourcing election funds directly from the Federation account.
Vacancies have now occurred in 21 constituencies. But not only that, we also have 8 governorship elections conducted off-cycle. So the Commission is conducting elections virtually all year round. We have little time to recover our senses and begin to plan for the next election.
Professor Yakubu responded that the executive later allocated 10.5 billion naira for 2024 will not be sufficient to cater to the Commission's activities in 2025. He maintained that in the last 1 year, the Commission has conducted 21 by-elections across the country, with 11 still pending. In their separate remarks, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Electoral Matters, Senator Sarafaddin Ali, commended the Commission for managing the 2024 elections despite limited funds, but stressed the need for improved funding in 2024.
Activities, particularly elections that we are going to conduct in 2025.
Okay, that are right within local government headquarters, about 59 of them.
2025 include Anambra in March, Ekiti in June, and Osun in July. The meeting ended in a closed door session to further discuss the 2025 budget framework. Alamin Ibrahim, 2025 budget framework. Alamin Ibrahim, Liberty News.
Still on the 2025 appropriation, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, says his commission needs 125 billion naira to run its activities in 2025, against the 40 billion that was appropriated to it in this year's budget proposal presented to the National Assembly in December 2024. Professor Yakubu, who dropped the hint when his commission appeared before the joint committees of the Senate and House of Representatives on electoral matters to defend its budget.
We want to propose that has provided details line by line on how we intend to spend the 126 billion. So we'd like the support of members of the National Assembly to ensure that we are adequately funded for the responsibilities we are required to discharge. And most of these responsibilities are constitutional. They are not just in the electoral, are constitutional. They are not just in the Electoral Act. They are not just for propriety. They are also constitutional.
The chairman of the House Committee on Electoral Matters, Representative Bayo Balogun, while commending the INEC chairman for judiciously using the meager resources available to him successfully to achieve the required results, said the commission. Reti Kingibe, representing the Federal Capital Territory FCT in the Red Chamber, and Representative Paul Kelijai from Lagos, both members of the committees. Members of the committees agreed that INEC must be adequately funded to deliver on its mandate.
Is that we want INEC to be really independent, and when they have shortages like this, what they fall back to, you said it does not cover most of the local government, but most of the local government at the end of the day run to the council chairman to get support, and these are things we should avoid. And in a situation where they have to go and ask for support, please assist us. And to make INEC really independent, we should ensure that they get their budgetary requirements so that they will not be tempted to go hand in cap to meet cap in hand to meet the local government chairman or the governors at the state level.
But INEC has to be independent. INEC cannot be independent. And anyway, really, I feel that is a no-brainer.
And now on the international news, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum on Friday officially launched a campaign to crack down on the number of weapons on the country's violence-wrecked streets. The plan called Yes to Disarmament, Yes to Peace will offer cash to those who anonymously leave weapons at designated drop-off locations, including churches. Gun owners will get 8,700 pesos, which is equivalent to $430 for a revolver, 25,000 pesos, equivalent to $1,200 for an AK-47. And now to sports. The Los Angeles Lakers and Los Angeles Clippers home games scheduled for Saturday have been postponed due to ongoing wildfires. The San Antonio Spurs and the Clippers fixture against the Charlotte Hornets had both been scratched off from the schedule. Both games will be rescheduled for a later date. The NBA and the Clippers and Lakers organizations have been in communication with local officials in Los Angeles and Inglewood about the ongoing situation in the Los Angeles area of the game. Postponements ensure to resources will be diverted from the wildfire response efforts, the league said in a statement. And now moving ahead, we told you in the headlines that President Tinubu meets with UN Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed. We also told you fire God's Square market destroy goods worth millions. And CBN launches diaper investment accounts to attract Nigerians abroad. And on sports, Lakers and Clippers games postponed due to California wildfires. The news team wishes you a pleasant time as we leave you with this liberty quote by Aristotle, who once said the greatest virtues are those which are most useful to other persons. Many thanks for watching. My name is Alamin Ibrahim.